Hello, I'm here. Finally. Apologies for being so late. I lost track of time, and then OBS had to do an update, and then I figured, well, I've been this long, I might as well, see if I can make my mic sound a bit better. 'Cause God, it's turns out I had two compressors layered over each other. Do I sound any better? I might need to turn down the gain a wee bit. It's peaking just a little too much. Okay, how does that sound? Actually, maybe a little bit lower. It's supposed to peak around the yellow. Okay, that should be better. How's that? How's my audio quality sounding? I've never been incredible with audio stuff. Good. I mean, that's good. I take that to mean good. Is it better than usual? Because I don't think it's the microphone. My mic sounds fine. I think. It is kind of it's a really crappy headset, to be fair, that I've owned for years. But I think it might have just been my audio settings. Because I don't know what I was doing with it, but I poked around the filters and I had like two compressors on. I amplified it and then compressed it twice and then filtered out audio noise. That's probably why I sounded real crap. I'll listen back to the VOD later. And hopefully it should sound okay. And we are now on the final chapter of National Park Girls. That's out there now. There's going to be an extra one. Yeah, there's going to be an extra one end of this year? Maybe start of next year? Which would be like the final part. Because this chapter's part 1 of 2. So we're probably going to left on a cliffhanger, and I'm probably going to get really annoyed, and we're all going to have to wait together. We should be fine. It'll be fine. I really want to know what happens next. Where were we? I hate that there's a 50-50 whenever I open a game on here.
Ranger Adams! I thought that the teepee were supposed to be like tents. So why is this one made of wood, huh, Ranger Adams?
What was I saying? Yeah, there's a 50-50 chance whenever I start streaming a game, I stop being able to see my mouse when I'm tabbed into it. So you're gonna... We're fine, it's fine. Let's move on. The poor little kid raises his hands and tries to jump, spouting off another series of gotcha questions from the infiniteenth time today. Pretty sure they're all designed to either make me look bad or make him look better. Either way, I've developed a personal grudge against this 9-year-old.
Well, you see, Ruben, you little bundle of stardust, you. This is a bark house. And if you listened to the other times I told you, I'm sure you would have known that.
My tightened cheeks wobble as I struggle to keep faking the smile. I don't think it's convincing though. The thumbstack-looking teacher is sipping at his travel mug more often and with growing urgency.
Yeah, but Ranger Adams, it looks like a teepee! I'm just saying.
It's not a teepee.
Teacher leans away from his mug to interrupt, but I don't give him the chance.
A teepee is made from animal skin. Does this look like animal skin to you? No, it doesn't. It's made of bark, which you can see because you have eyes. Hence the name. You ask such great questions, Ruben. Now someone else give me another one.
Barely managed to hold myself together, but all things considered, not too bad. I'm at least not screaming at children yet. I scan the faces of about 20 or so antsy 4th graders, parents, chaperones scolding the most distracted of them with stiff hand motions. Some kids look up at me expecting, waiting. Others have their fingers on their nose. None of them are raising their hands. Except for Ruben.
Anyone at all.
Only birds respond. Ranger Adams, they chirp. Tell us about the old village that were razed to the ground before this replica was built. Please, Ranger Adams, tweet. Ruben is jumping off the ground now. His shirt rolls up as he thrusts his hand into the air and his belly spills over his cargo shorts. Count to 4 like my Jesse mandated counselor told me to do. Then released a deep, deep sigh.
Go ahead, Reuben.
Where's the chief? Teacher said he would show us the sweat lodge.
Councilman Trampton got caught up with tribal affairs.
Are we still doing the sweat lodge?
Doesn't look like it.
Oh.
Chores aren't really my jurisdiction, but sometimes when the stars decide they want to unalign and fly everything out of orbit, they get handed over to me. I like doing them more than I used to, but usually they're hikes or nature trails. When it comes to history and the culture of the tribes around here, I just feel dirty, out of my depth. It's like killing someone in their house, then buying it up, only to turn the place into a haunted maze. Usually people from the American Indian Council of Mariposa? Yeah, Mariposa County would be out here, but today these kids get me, with my red hair, freckles, and middle class upbringing.
Do Indians still live here?
Herman speaks up again, this time without raising his hands. He points around at the ramshackle buildings and cabins compiled of local flora and bark. They're sturdy, but need to be rebuilt from time to time. To be honest, it's really not all that bad of a question. Just don't like the mouthful it's coming out of.
This village is just a replica. No Miwok or Awanichi people have lived in the park since the 60s. Even then, most were forced out by the Mariposa Battalion during the gold rush.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of America's national parks just kicked all the people living there out. Because, you know, America. All parents cough into their fists. Teacher tugs at his collar.
Ranger Adams?
A frail girl with pigtails steps up from behind Ribbon. Her voice is quiet and meek. If her hair were a few shades lighter, she'd look like Zion.
What is it, sweetie?
What do you mean by forced out?
America. Oh boy, we're about to get onto the... We're about to get on the all those natives they killed. Uh-oh. Teacher is pleading at me with his eyes. Meanwhile, the parents are stabbing at their own. No, the kids, even the one with low attention spans, are looking to me. Their innocent states underscoring the thick silence. I sniff back this spring allergies.
You kids know what a genocide is?
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
The teacher panicked last and rushed to my side. He punctuates the tour with a clap of his hand.
How about we all go check out the museum?
As we know, governments don't like teaching people about all the bad stuff they did. That's why here in Britain we weren't taught about the British Empire. And I'm pretty sure they were trying to get it banned from teaching us about the British Empire.
Come on! You can't be eating people's trash!
But look at him. He can do whatever he wants. Look at him. Grabbing the scruff of his neck, I drag Pup onto the cabin porch, his paws scratching and sliding on wooden planks. That one stop for you and VCs, yeah. No. He's growling so fast I didn't even believe it until I tried to carry him for myself. There's an old saying that if you pick a calf up every day from the time it's born to the time it's an adult, you'll be able to hoist it up when it's fully grown. Clearly I missed a few days with Pup. He rolls his head to my arm and nips at my wrist.
Ow! Why, you little...
The sharp pain dulls as I check my wrist. No major damage, just a scrape etched down my arm. Pup gallops across the field, then spins in circles like he has a chance of finding the end of infinity.
I am not having this lack of cooperation.
He sniffs at a dead bird, so decomposed that its remaining mass is flattened onto the ground. Then he rolls around in it. It's not like he ever listened to me to begin with, but lately it feels like he's untamable. He won't dare nip at Zion, but me, Yosemite, and even Yellowstone have gotten snapped at by him recently. He's a sweet boy, but it's almost becoming an issue. Just to spend more time training him, I guess. Maybe the weekends. Since I've started going on regular hikes with Yellowstone and Zion, they've begun feeling a little more open. Can't explain it. It's like a psychological light switch. But I guess I'm not unhappy to have it flipped on. The sudden crack of shattered glass yelps from the inside of the cabin. A furrowed brow blocks half my vision. In less than a second, I'm inside.
Somebody better have a replacement.
At least 100 shards of ceramic and glass are scattered at the base of her feet. The tray she was carrying is upside down and several feet away, water sliding behind it. I go for teapots like some families go for sourdough. Yellowstone doesn't react, not even as much as a head turn. She stares up to the corner, eyes stretched wide, mouth open. Leaning forward in her chair, Zion's jaw is slouched on the table. She's looking up at me. She's looking at me, but she's staring right through me, right through the wall behind me.
Can someone say something?
A bolt of energy sizzles from the top of my head to deep into my calves. Calves? Deadbolting me to the floor. My entire body is held in by the weight. Not because I can't move, because I know I shouldn't. Yosemite is sitting in lotus over my bed. I don't know when I gave her permission to do that, but there she is. Back is turned to me. She faces the window. On the nightstand, a lit candle sways with the breeze that spirals through the cabin. The sweet scent of burning pine is brushing over me. The lit candle flickers out.
Girls!
Tension in my body lifts, and I'm finally allowed to exhale. There's a moment of clarity, empty stillness, where all the questions I have right now feel like they have obvious answers. But as I inhale, the fog comes rolling back in, and I'm as confused as ever.
Yellowstone. I saw it too. What in the Sam Hill was that?
I don't know.
Did you see the girl? Yeah, she was kinda hot.
Excuse me? Hey, yo? We have at least two canon girl lakers already. Let's fucking go.
Not what I meant, but I get what you mean.
Never mind, free. Theon scrunches up her tiny face. Yellowstone looks at her, and she looks at Yellowstone. They both twirl their heads and look at me. I've had lots of eyes on me today, but the primal part of my lizard brain is scared enough for me to take a few steps back.
Miss Eve, did you see that vision too? Like, in your noggin?
Vision? No, nothing like that.
The smoke from the incense is thick. It feels tangible, like I could hop on it and ride it into the aether.
But as soon as I walked in here, I could feel something.
Feel something? Like what?
Tension, fear. I don't know. It just felt oppressive, I guess.
Spooky.
Zion gasps and jumps out of her seat, hovering there for a moment before floating back down.
Yosemite, what about you?
Yosemite doesn't speak. Yosemite doesn't turn around. Yosemite doesn't do anything. She just sits there, back turned, legs crossed, unflinching, braving whatever little world she's in all by herself.
Yo, Slow-simity! Catching some Z's over there or what? Slow-simity.
That's stupid, I love it. Zion's eyes widen and her mouth stretches into a giant O.
Oh, I get it! That's very clever, Yellowstone.
She claps her hands together to congratulate her friend, but Yellowstone is too busy chewing on her nails to bask in it. Whatever they saw must have shaken her. Hard to blame her, though. Whatever it is I felt has me shook too. It wasn't just a passing feeling like lightheadedness or vertigo. It was something real, enough that it could bury itself deep under my skin.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen you shut up for this long. What's the deal?
Marching over to my little nook of the cabin, I step between Yosemite and the wall. I stare down at her. For the first time since getting to know each other, I feel like the tall one. Oh shit, is she good? Trembling, Yosemite stares up at me. lots of tears dabbing on the corner of her eyes. 6 feet of ego and superiority contorted into a vulnerable ball. Hug her right now. Hug her. Before I can even process what she's feeling, or how that makes me feel, she pounces onto the bed and wraps her long tree branch arms around me. Yes, let's go!
Whoa, okay. Forgot you were a hugger, but sure.
Her weight almost drags us both down onto the bed, but my calves are strong enough to keep us anchored to the floor. She tightly clings onto my uniform, stretching the fabric as she does the bare minimum to keep herself held up. There's not any sobbing, but the tears are there, and I can feel them bleeding through my shirt. A quiet part of me says to push her away and tell her to suck it up, but the louder part of me cuts through all the nastiness and tells me Yosemite is worthy of pity. My hands awkwardly hovering over the back of her head. Goes limp. I stroke her hair until I reach her back, then I just ride out the embrace.
What's wrong with Yosemite? Does she know what that was? Cause I don't know Jack Diddley. Tell me what the Jack is, Yosemite. Tell me about the Diddley.
I'm never gonna get over how Yellowstone talks. I love her. The two of them rush over, not giving a single second of extra thought to the idea of crowding a crying girl.
Oh, no you don't.
Dragging Yosemite's mass with me, I step over to the curtain and slide it closed, cutting off Zion and Yellowstone's stampede.
Peel back this veil, Missy. I need answers. Yes. This is extremely unfair, Miss Eve.
Yellowstone's seemingly unaware that she has the power to peel back the veil, presses herself against the curtain, the outline of her body coming at us through the fabric like bad 3D effects.
Tough. The adults need to talk.
Technically, I'm pretty sure both of them are older than you are. Careful to dodge Yosemite, I kick Yellowstone back using the center of my foot. She stumbles back, and although I can't see it, I hear the crash landing.
We are much older than you, I'll have you know.
Whatever you say, Squirt. Come back to me once you sprout up a few more inches. Please, you two.
Yosemite manages to choke back their tears long enough to plead with them between sniffles.
Just a few minutes, okay?
I don't think we've ever seen her this vulnerable, Jesus Christ. The other side of the curtain goes quiet enough time for Yosemite to take another dance with hysterics as she tries and fails to compose herself. Zion floats to the top of the curtain rail to peer down at us. She blows me a ripe, juicy raspberry, then drops back down with a defiant Those two out of the way, I tug Yosemite back towards the bed and have to shove her onto it to get her to stop clinging to me.
Alright, let's take a few seconds to breathe.
Yosemite nods her head up and down, covering her mouth with her hand. Like she's actually, like that'll actually keep me from seeing her tears, or shame, whichever makes her the most embarrassed. And I'm positive that one or the other, or both does. Hold on a second. I'm suffering from a complete lack of things to do with my hands. Oh, baby. If I'd feel bad for this freaking Yosemite of all people. I climb up to bed and do the crisscross applesauce thing, which in these khakis and this uniform is no easy task. The comforter is soft and warm, retaining Yosemite's body heat. We both sink into the bed, and the frame struggling beneath our collective weight.
Tell me what happened.
She nods and takes a steadying breath.
Well, it's hard to put into words. Nearly unexplainable.
Just pretend you're smart and have to dumb everything down for me. Should be easy for you.
It's only easy because you're so mediocre.
Not even whatever this says will stop her fucking throwing shit. With a half smile, she thumbs away the last tears. I take off my hat and plant it on her head, twisting it on hard and tight so it smothers her smug face.
Spill it.
It was like... I experienced things.
Welcome to consciousness.
She tilts back the hat, her eyes popping up from beneath it like a groundhog ready for spring.
I'm serious. Not just sights, but sounds and smells too. I could recount how I was feeling when I laughed at a joke. Complicated instances where things felt bitter and sweet, but still full. Even extremely specific energy, The richness of a moment where you really pay attention to it. Imprints.
So what, like a vision? That's gotten tossed out there already.
I suppose. Although I feel like that implies more disconnect from it. They felt more like...
Chuckling, she rolls her eyes. There's a crack in her voice, and I realize she's doing it to keep herself from crying again.
Well, I suppose they felt more like memories, Eve.
Memories?
Thank you for always repeating everything I say. It's very reaffirming.
And if my defense mechanism is the black comfort of nihilism, then hers is the icy delight of sarcasm. But I think I have an idea what it's defending her from, and that knowledge makes it harder to blame her.
Are they yours? Pretty sure all three of you saw the same thing. I could feel it as soon as I walked in.
Positive. Every living thing in this park flows through me. I feel it. My perception of being is specific to me. Unique. Did you just say you felt it?
It was just a hunch or something. You were all spaced out. Frankly, I'm jealous of your ability to disassociate.
Why am I getting so defensive? I felt what I felt, in a way. I experienced it as strongly as how Yosemite said she experienced it. It's experienced a little episode. It'd be so much easier to confront it if I could just pass it off as a fever or food poisoning.
You must be spending too much time around us.
Preaching to the choir.
We both snort, letting the silence take over as we smile at each other. Since our entire friendship is a game of chicken, we hold out to see who breaks first. It's Yosemite. Her eyes dodge mine and droop down to the bed sheets. I do the same.
So, are you gonna tell me what you saw?
No avoiding it, huh?
For most people, you absolutely can avoid things. It's easy. But for her, I don't think that it is. She always goes for the most difficult option. It's just her ego and inability to admit when she's being an idiot that makes it harder than it has to be.
It wasn't just one moment that I experienced. There were multiple moments, and it felt like I was being sucked through all of them. Through time. Languages I could understand at the time, but that seemed completely dead to me now. People I knew and was happy to see, even though I can't pin down who they are.
Her forehead creases with wrinkles, and the flow of information slows to a comparative trickle.
One of them was a girl.
Holy shit!
I knew it! I knew we saw the same gal!
Yosun's voice booms out like a disruptive firework.
Eavesdropping is supposed to be quiet. You need to be considerate when we're being rude. All this stuff is giving me the willies. If I don't get them deets, I'm gonna flip.
Keep up the screeching and I will actually give you something to be afraid of.
And I won't stop her.
I love the character writing in this is so on point. Jesus Christ. I love it. I love it so much. There's immediate silence, then Sion whispers.
Don't listen to her. We can take her on if we have to.
Instead of storming through the curtain, I roll my eyes. Your time will come, girls. Your time will come.
Continue.
It's the same as before, really. I couldn't tell you who she was, but I knew her. She was carrying this woven basket. It looked heavy, so I wanted to help. And when she turned around, it was like comfort, relief, and happiness and belonging. Sounding crazy enough for you yet?
Nothing does at this point.
If any barrier she had erected between the two of us was still standing, I'm pretty sure it just got knocked down. She pulls her feet out from the pretzel they're in and balls her knees close to her chest.
The strangest thing about it was that there was one thing that connected all the scenarios.
Besides yourself?
No, because the through line was that it all took place here in the park. I was present in more ways than one.
As much as I want to be here for Yosemite right now, this is starting to make my head hurt.
And you're sure about that?
As sure as I am about everything else so far.
Groaning, she buries her face in her knees, the rest of her head buried under my hat.
If only I could visit. I feel like everything would start to make sense.
Then go visit. It's not like you can't go wherever you want in this park.
It doesn't work like that, you...
She nearly stumbles into a casual insult, but catches herself.
Precious, precious thing.
Not even a good save.
I can only go to places that I know of. Obviously, that's most places here, but occasionally there are areas even I'm not familiar with.
I take a gasp.
Are you saying the great and wise Yosemite doesn't know everything?
It's a fact that actively irritates me, so don't rub it in. But yes, I'm afraid I don't even know where to start. Which means even after seeing all this, I'm still no better off than I usually am.
The thralls of despair are as long as they are sharp, and its talons are clutched around Yosemite. It was hard to see when we first met, but it's clear to me now. There's so much she wants to know, but so much is keeping her from it. Mostly knowledge, or lack of it. No wonder she reads so much.
There's nothing about it in any of those books of yours?
Her head slinks back and forth.
I've read everything I own multiple times. If there were anything helpful, I'd remember.
She's kind of pathetic. Not even kind of, she just is. Far cry from the fearsome spirit that challenged me when I was first stationed here, though I think that version of her never really existed to begin with. I compare her to a tree a lot, but I think it works. At first she seemed tall and mighty, her presence shading the cabin at all times, but with a few slow and powerful swings of an axe, she's been chopped down to my size. But when you're way down where I'm at, there's nothing. But when you're way down where I'm at, there's nothing about you that feels powerful, no matter how much wisdom or strength you claim to have. That's how things are when you're this low. And that's why I'm going to help her.
I guess I have no choice then.
I slide off the bed and stretch.
No choice but to do what?
But to take you to the research library.
Yo, let's go! I already knew this was going to be a Yosemite episode, but let's go, Yosemite episode! Not a big deal to me, so I let the info slip out casually, but to her, well, let's just say this will be my second good deed for the year.
Research library?
I glance over my shoulder.
Who's repeating whom now?
She crawls across the bed and grabs my suit.
Are you saying such a place exists? You aren't lying just to make me cry, are you?
You have some serious trust issues, man.
Are you?
Her eyes start to water again, providing my previous theory about the chopped tree. Though at this point, she looks more like a garden plant.
It's real and it's a perk of the job. Open to researchers and staff. Guess which one I am?
Suddenly her eyes are dry, suddenly she's on her feet, and suddenly she's shaking me back and forth.
Why didn't you tell me about this before?
I anchor myself to the ground to minimize the damage from the oncoming whiplash.
Because you keep stealing my credit card to buy used books online. Why would I reward that behavior?
If I knew this existed, I wouldn't have had to indulge in your capitalist system to begin with.
Let's go, Yosemite episode.
You're welcome.
The shaking stops, her expression goes blank. Hopefully from contemplating the selfishness that boils in her at all times. She course corrects and puts on a grin, then swings her arms around me and pulls me in for a hug.
Thank you.
I've said this in every fucking stream of this game, but I'm dead set on this. These two are endgame. Okay? They've been building it the whole fucking game. These two are definitely endgame, and if they don't kiss at the end, I'm gonna be upset. The devs swear this isn't a romance, but like, they're probably gonna put that in there. I hope they do. Her hug squeezes the air out of me, and I'm already realizing I'm so tired.
When are we going?
Let go of me. We can leave as soon as I change out of my uniform. There's a van down by the station we can use.
Oh, I haven't tried my hand at driving before.
You're not driving.
Before Yosemite can object, Yellowstone zips open the curtain.
Hold your horses. Girls aren't just gonna speed off and leave us in the dark, are ya?
Probably.
We're just as clueless as you are. If we figure anything out, we'll be sure to let you know.
But, I have questions.
Don't we all?
Isn't life funny that way?
Try not to lose sleep over it.
Yosemite hums happily to herself as I start for the bathroom. Before I close the door, I hear Zion comforting her friend.
Don't worry, Yellowstone. We can just play Uno instead of thinking.
Holy shit, we've got Uno canon to the National Park Girls universe. Let's fucking go. Everyone has Uno, dipshit. It came
So,
free.
in 1901,
Fucking Xbox.
Besant and Leadbeater published Thought Forms, a collection of their compiled work that was written from a theosophical perspective discussing the visualization of the emotions and thoughts people experience every day.
Wow, that's a lot of words. A bug splats onto the windshield, one of many that are now caked to the car. I pull down on the lever and cleaning fluid sprays onto the window. The windshield wipers mostly just spread the mess back and forth, only serving to make things more slippery.
This is important because it's part of a wave of expansion in Western esotericism that occurred going into the 20th century, alongside groups such as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
I've been driving so much today. The library is right next to the replica village I've been having the tour at earlier. If all this had happened before I went in for work, I would have just brought Yosemite with me to save on gas.
But the real big takeaway from it, at least in my opinion, is that in the book, Besant and Leadbeater lay out 3 principles for this philosophy: quality of thought, nature of thought, and definiteness of thought.
This is not too big of a loss. This drive is always therapeutic. Any drive where the forest borders me on both sides of the road are, even if this one is the busiest areas of the park.
There are certain details that I disagree with, but they're the backbone of Dr. Angela Merrick's theory that I've been trying to elaborate on. That being mind creates matter.
Hope those kids are on a bus headed home by this point. Running into them would be sure to bulldoze what's left of my pride after how that tour went. Huh. Wonder if Yellowstone will save some leftovers for us. To be honest, I'm not sure when we're going to be back. We could be out all night if we find a lead.
Are you even listening to me?
My attention turns from the beauty of Yosemite the park to the poutiness of Yosemite the girl. You'd be surprised by the difference and the similarities.
Not gonna lie, I tuned out everything after Crowley. It's all voodoo to me.
The Lima, actually. But because you're helping me out, I'll let your disrespect slide just this once.
Very generous.
It's not disrespect. I just wasn't listening.
Yosemite stabs me with her eyes, shanking me with hundreds of tiny passive-aggressive daggers. Then she sighs and gives up. Because I win. Always and forever.
So, before I get my hopes up,
Oh my god, you have hopes? Next you're gonna tell me you have dreams too.
These two... It's gonna be a cold day in hell before these two stop verbally swinging for each other.
before I throw you out of this vehicle, what do you think the chances are of us actually finding something of value at this library?
It depends on what you're looking for. This isn't exactly a public library, you know. It has records, essays, articles, and a bunch of other things I'm sure only you will find interesting.
Despite the last jab at her, Yosemite's knees bounce with restrained excitement as I list off the library's collection.
It sounds like a treasure trove. I won't be sure of what we're looking for until we get there, but now I'm positive we'll find it.
Phil's smile is so cute. She notices her bouncing knee, then slams her fist down on her shin. It stops. She glances at me, looks out the window, and turns to look at me again, then finally commits to the window.
Whatever it is.
What a freak. Jesus Christ, Steve, chill. It's all fun to watch, though. Makes me wonder just what exactly is going on in her head.
You sure do have a fetish for learning, huh?
That's one way to put it.
Fetish? Is there not a single bone, or organ, or tendon in your body that isn't crude? It is a fascination. Understand, you barbarian?
Yeah, these two are totally gonna kiss.
Sure.
I do. I understand that she's embarrassed because I hit the nail right on top of its fragile little head. She huffs and puffs like a fussy grandma.
But, yes, If you're actually wondering, I find acquiring new information to be a joy. And the more I can indulge in it, the better.
Give me a sec. Bought a big 750 milliliter bottle of cola from the corner shop for a couple hours ago. Stream. I like to have a drink because even I, as much as I talk normally, and Spook's can attest to that, I don't shut up. But even as much as I talk normally, talking for hours straight is very much hurts my throat. Also, it's iron brew, so I know thriving. I hide my teasing beneath a cough.
Fetish. I despise you. Sometimes.
You're not exactly a barrel of dandelions either.
She stretches my hat over her head until she looks like she's wearing a mask. Hard to tell for sure over the rushing wind from outside, but I'm almost convinced I can hear the first few syllables of a muffled laugh.
I have my reasons, you know.
You talk a lot, or you just stare. It's a little unsettling when you stare. I only stare for comedic effect, okay? Sometimes if someone says something really dumb, all you have to do is just sit there, look at them blankly, and you'll watch just watch them squirm if they try and they're trying play it down, and then they'll start asking they'll start freaking out. It's incredibly entertaining. You have no idea. Maybe I'm just a psychopath, but I find it endlessly entertaining. Just to go completely quiet when someone says something weird and watch them go through the 5 stages of grief. As I just kind of sit there. Twirling out of the depths of my hat, Yosemite plops her chin down on her fist and gazes at the window. For being a pretentious snob, is the first response that zaps through my mind, but I decide to hold off because as much as I love getting under her skin, it's pretty cheap to devalue the things people care about. I know that, or at least I do now.
Your research, right?
Yes, but not only that.
She squeaks as she shifts around. She settles on one position, her posture a little stiffer, then decides that that's too uncomfortable and slouches. The process repeats itself.
Retaining information is difficult, especially in the long haul. I first noticed it with Zion. Then me, eventually. Memories seemed fuzzier. Details that used to be clear just began slipping away.
It's been about a week since the big blowout between Yosemite and Zion. All Zion wanted was to spend time together at a picnic, but Yosemite let the worst of herself get a hold of her and warped the nice gesture into a test to see if she could trigger some memories in Zion. The North Guardian Angel was gorgeous, but that's one picnic I don't want to relive.
I noticed it in Yellowstone, too. Sometimes when she's cooking or cleaning, or even just playing with Zion, she'll pause. Get this faraway look in her eyes, like she's missing something. I think it happens to all of us at one point or another. It might just come with the territory, with existing. But it feels like a curse.
You sure it's not just existing that's the curse?
It's all perspective, I suppose. Sometimes it sure does feel that way. But for me, soaking up as much information as I possibly can, about anything, even things that might seem silly or esoteric, is how I cope with it. To make sure I never truly delude myself into thinking the essence of existing is suffering. Because there needs to be more to it than the things that scare me.
Her words are desperate, but she says them with enough conviction for me to know that she repeated this mantra to herself until she ended up believing it. Or at least until she got attached to it.
Color me jealous.
Are you setting up a sarcastic punchline, or is this a segue into genuine admiration for me?
The fact that you think jealousy equates to admiration says more about you than me. But, yeah, I mean it. You have an actual philosophy to live by. A structure of belief that drives you to action. That means you're tenacious, or tenaciously oblivious. Not everyone is so lucky.
Smack a bump in the road, dangling from the ignition. The keys jingle. I moaned about it to Jessie when I got reassigned, but I wish someone cared enough to do something about the potholes. I wish that person were me.
God, I'm getting secondhand depression just listening to you. Motivations, beliefs, whatever it is that keeps you diving headfirst into insanity. That isn't something you're either born with or without. Attributing it to luck undermines not only your ability to seek truth, but also the one current that flows through every living and natural thing.
Keep one eye on the road and one eye on Yosemite, waiting for her to follow up. She doesn't. Instead, it just hit another pothole.
Ask what it is. This conversation warrants anticipation.
You're unreal.
Ask me!
He whines. I roll my eyes and validate the spoiled child, then channel my inner Yellowstone.
Hot Skippy, Yosemite! I don't got a clue about the thunk inside your thing. Hit me with them deeds!
Then she gives me the transcendent stare.
It's will. The intention to commit to an action that changes the surrounding environment. Intention. You have to have it when you get a cup of coffee. The Earth absorbs heat unevenly. Thus, it has intention to diffuse the gas via wind. But to act on intention takes will, which means anything with the potential to act, at the very least, shares will. If something exists, but it actively denies its capacity to change its reality, it's either oblivious to the power of its will, or...
She grins at me with smug pity.
it's scared of it.
She sure is devoted to making sure her points are theatrical revelation. Gotcha therapy.
Dang, Yosemite. Your 8th grade pseudo-philosophy stabilized the serotonin in my body for the first time in years. I could feel my bootstraps lifting me into the sky as we speak.
Quit strawmanning me with an adage I didn't even say. I just want you to act on your potential in a positive way. Because right now you're only using it to constipate yourself. With fear, probably anger too.
Wait, shut up. Did you just imply that you have an emotional investment in my long-term happiness?
Yosemite raises her finger to speak, then drops it. Her mouth mindlessly dangles open, frozen in stasis. Her hand falls to her lap, the safest place in the world. She fiddles with her thumbs instead of looking at me.
I do. Yeah.
Aww, they care about each other, really.
Oh. Thanks, I guess.
No kiss. Well, the voice on the inside of my head is busy screaming. Try to admire some of the trees on the side of the road. So textured, so green, so easy to distract myself with it. As I avoid the reality of Yosemite continuing today's tradition of being vulnerable. It's hard to swallow because if Yosemite has all her egotism and Fox put upons. Yosemite has all her egotism and faux put-upons can make the conscious effort to be truthful about her emotions, then I don't really have any excuse, and that sucks. Which is why I need to offer her a way out now.
It's just funny you say that, since there are some implications that crop up from that.
Like what?
She doesn't say it with any ironic doubt or guilted pity. It's plain and curious and genuine, and compromises some of my defenses. Quite frankly. I grip the steering wheel until the rubber squeaks under my hand.
Well, you know, like how if you believe the potential for will exists in every natural thing, then you're saying people are part of nature, inherently. That's pretty optimistic for you, don't you think?
Eve.
She leans in and adjusts the rear view mirror. Mirror, shifting it to face me. When she's done, she folds her hands for punctuation. When I look in the mirror, I don't get the privilege of looking at the back window. I get a look at myself.
I said what I said.
She said what she said so much I got an achievement called exactly that.
A blue 5. Let me see.
Are we really cutting away from those two to see Zion and Yellowstone playing fucking Uno? Why would they put this here? Were they sitting in the writer's room like, I've got it. We make Yellowstone and Zion play Uno. And we make a whole scene of them just playing Uno. I mean, I'm fucking here for it, but still.
Yellowstone, stop daydreaming. It's your turn. This is very serious. Oopsie daisy. Me and my dilly-dallying. Let's see. Red 5, huh? Well, any other day, this would put me in a real pickle. But I'm thinking this wild card right here is gonna land me in Uno! Again? You always save the fancy cards for last. It's extremely unfair. One more round. Yeah.
So hasn't even won yet, chill.
Yellowstone, if you don't want to play, I really wish you would come out and say it. What? No, that's not what's... Golly, I'm sorry, Zion. I just got brainworms squirming around in the old noggin, I guess.
Oh my god, she's just like me for real.
Brainworms? Don't tell me you actually ate one of our mud pies again. Nah, not this time.
Again?
Is that memory, dream, vision, whatchamacallit we all had? I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm the best at not thinking about things. Well, it was a very intense experience. It only makes sense for it to linger with you. But it's more than that. It was like I was seeing things through some other fella's eyes. Like it wasn't me. I had a similar feeling. It was such a relief once it was over. You're telling me. Except, it still kind of feels like I'm there. And then I got to thinking, what if what I saw in the whatchamacallit was the real me, and the me that's here right now is just a phony? What if I don't actually exist? What if you, Yosemite, Eve, and this entire park don't exist?
Every time is this girl gonna have an existential crisis? Someone please give her help.
That's real screwed up, Yellowstone. I know! Oh, it's really bumming me out. Everything seemed so solid before. Now it all seems flimsy. Like a thin tater chip you can see through. Don't be bummed out, Yellowstone. Here, let me draw us another hand and we can talk about it until you feel better. Really? You do that for me?
Aww.
Of course! I love you! And besides, existence is extremely strange, especially if it's not something you consider very often. Is it? Until Evo came along, I always felt like any Jack and Jill you'd see on the hiking trail. Well, minus the condom. But the way she talks about us makes me feel like some kind of goober that shouldn't be real. Like we're something out of a dream. It's interesting that you mentioned dreams. People have theorized that life is one big dream since people could theorize.
These two are so adorable.
Oh, like that one banger we always jam to. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a... Oh. What is it? Do you know that fancy word? That one that happens to you when your ticker starts beating real quick and you get so spooked you start sweating and it just keeps going until your brain sort of farts? Anxiety? Zion, I think I have anxiety.
Aww. Just ending the scene there. Well, shit, okay. Back to our girl. I'll hop out of the car and slam the door shut. Yosemite steps out and eats it shut. I don't hear a latch. The parking lot, grey and faded from the elements, squeezes into the replica village. You don't have to go and seek out the library because it's right there, edging into the village's territory like an unwelcomed invader. Stone archway and arts and crafts, wooden paneling don't do much to hide the facade.
Did you lock it?
Yes, Yosemite.
You didn't forget to turn the headlights off, did you?
They're automatic, Yosemite.
Did the engine sound weird to you? Because
You can stop now, Yosemite.
Little things tend to add up, you know.
Yeah, like you're complaining.
Suddenly pouts in a huffy silence, mouthing my words and scrunching her face into an impression of me, an overgrown child on an ego trip.
So how long do I have to wear this hat for anyway?
She tilts up the brim of the hat, and it like a wannabe cowboy.
Until those daggers on the sides of your head fall off.
My ears are beautiful!
And also distracting. We'll have a lot of explaining to do if someone sees them.
I think everyone else should explain to me why their ears are so round and stub.
Tuck the hat over her eyes and start for the library. She pops back up from underneath the hat.
Disrespectful.
You know all about that.
I waited for Yosemite at the door for 5 seconds longer than I'd like. When I turn around to scold her, she's frozen in the middle of the pathway, gazing at the replica village. She doesn't flinch, breathe, or move, as if she's in another trance. Okay, I guess she can have 10 more seconds. I whistle her over and pull her back to reality. She shuffles over to me, only looking back once before meeting me at the door. Instead of letting me, an employee of the park and the federal government, do it, she drags the thing open herself and barges in.
Museum!
Somebody's mouth drops in awe as her voice echoes across the giant showroom. Dozens of Native American artifacts, from poetry to woven baskets, are displayed in cases of glass. The handful of people quietly enjoying the exhibit turn to us. My embarrassment is camouflaged by Yosemite's childlike joy.
I'm just going to sneak in real quick and read some of the plaques.
Oh, no, you aren't.
I snag her by the hood of her jacket, and pull her back, and pull her down a hallway behind me.
But
We'd be here all day. You can come back another time.
one day.
She goes limp, accepting her fate for the time being. I'm sure she'll keep this in her back pocket and guilt me into bringing her back eventually. Can't you just teleport her here? She's here now. She could just, boom, and, you know. The hallway is lined with mundane wooden doors, most of which are just offices and break rooms for the staff. One of them is for storage too, if I'm remembering right. And into the hall, the last door is held open by a rubber door stopper. A faded plaque hangs on the wall next to it. Yosemite National Park Research Library.
Oh, is this it?
That's right.
I was expecting something more elegant.
Kneeing the door open, I squeeze through and let it smack Yosemite while it closes.
Ow! Thin ice.
Already melted.
Started digging into my pockets for my lanyards and identification, when a familiar sing-songy voice called out to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie, but we aren't open to the public. Eve?
Sitting at the front desk, Jessie pokes her head out from behind a stack of paperwork, her hat balanced neatly on top of it.
Jessie, what are you doing here? Cheryl's always here on weekdays.
Well, Cheryl and some of the museum staff got laid off in the last round of budget cuts, so the upper brass has been exploiting, relying on volunteers more. So I thought, what the hey, I'm a registered volunteer, may as well take a vacation day to look after the old place and get some work done.
This is what you consider a vacation. I'm ever saying one thing, but the twitch in her eye is seeing something entirely different.
So you're not getting paid for this?
What can I do for you, Eve?
She says like she's about to cry. Yosemite looks in a stoic horror.
Your lives sound like nightmares.
Jessie perks up, staring right through me, and at the new shiny new person she can hone her social skills with. One sec. My imagination, am I going crazy? Just when I heard a Discord notification.
Oh, and who is this? I never see you with someone else, Eve.
If only she knew this person was who I've been spending most of my precious time with lately.
Friend from college. She's looking for some reference material before her study gets reviewed.
A friend, huh? Do you let all your friends wear your hats? Or only the cute ones?
even Jessie's pushing these two. Come on, make it happen. Go to Il Studios. I see you. Make the girls kiss. I demand more lesbians. The game's tagged LGBT+. I ripped off. She leans against the desk and wiggles around like a cat about to pounce on its toy. Very amusing, Jessie. Her immediately going for the hat is a little too close for comfort, though. If she digs up the truth about Yellowstone now, it basically confirmed to me that she has a sixth sense.
Whatever you're trying to imply, you should stop.
Boo. You never talk about yourself. What choice do I have but to guess?
Do not.
You could at least tell me her name.
I'm halfway through taking my first breath when Yosemite dives in front of me and snatches Jessie's hand so she can vigorously shake it.
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Lilith. If you want, you can put a doctor in front of that on account of my PhD, which I'm very proud of.
Oh my god, the ego on this one. There's a backstory ready and everything. It's the role she's deluded herself into believing she was born to play. Jessie plays into Yosemite's narcissism and shakes her hand. Whether she actually believes this obvious lie or she's just going along with it to entertain herself, I'm not sure.
Oh, impressive. You keep some interesting company, Eve.
Yeah, she's the salt of the earth.
Well, Lilith, it's nice to meet you too. I'm Eve's supervisor.
Yes, Jessie. I've heard so much about you.
I absolutely love when visual novels do gags with the character name in their dialogue. It's so good.
Thank you for looking after my tiny friend here. I know she can be a handful most of the time, but I think having positive influences like you has made her life significantly less miserable. Despite her best efforts.
She's really going for it, putting every ounce of her being into the performance. Unfortunately for you, Yosemite, you're not the only one who can use words.
Oh, Lilith. You've changed so much since your days of passing out drunk on the lawns of frat houses, you massive piece of human garbage.
Your room gets quieter than most libraries have ever had the privilege of being. Having miscalculated the length of time I would put up with her crap in public, Yosemite's face goes pale.
Damn. I'm not sure how you two haven't killed each other yet.
It's a struggle.
Jessie leans back in the rolling chair, decompressing with a sigh. Her eyes are half shut, ready to embrace the sweet gift of a cat nap, the moment we're out of her sight.
So, do you need me to pull out anything specific, or would you rather sift through the whole library?
Again, Yosemite grabs the conversation by the neck before I can even respond.
We'll dig through the whole library. It could mean we're here for a while, though.
That's fine. Just make sure to sign in. I don't know who looks at the sheet, but I'm sure it's important to someone somewhere.
She pushes forward a clipboard with a pen chained to it. I snag it before Yosemite can and log the time. For the name, I just put Eve Adams and Company. Yosemite takes it after I'm done anyway. Then writes down the name of her new persona on the column below. She sticks her nose in the air, but we both know this victory is mine.
Just around this corner, then?
You make it sound simple, but yeah. Let me know if you need anything, girls. Good luck!
The cheerful tone ringing in Jessie's voice gives me every reason to want to be concerned. Too ominous, too knowing. She shoos us away with a wave and slides the next form of the Leaning Tower of bureaucracy. Then as we turn the corner, it's horrifyingly apparent why she wished us good luck.
Christ, it's worse than I remember.
I assumed this would be a daunting task, but this is unwieldy.
The library is stacked to the ceiling of cardboard boxes, overstuffed folders spill from shelves. It's like if Yosemite took a research and sprinkled it across the cabin. How could anyone ever let it get like this? I take 3 hesitant steps into the eye of the storm. My shoulder brushes against a pile of boxes. The top box teeters over and crashes onto the ground, binders and folders and papers scattering across the floor. I sigh and say a prayer for the mercy of death.
Where do we even start?
Well, Eve.
Sonny bends over and starts gathering up the messes I've made. Not that it is any more recognizable than the big mess we're already standing in.
I suppose you'll just have to start on the left, and I'll just have to start on the right.
And then we'll meet in the center?
Oh, Eve, don't be so difficult. For my sake, you can drag yourself further to the right.
Research montage, let's go. Yo, not Zion. Yellowstone moment. Multiple hours have passed since we've entered the library. Whenever I look at the clock, I'm surprised by how late it's gotten. There are no windows in this room, so it's impossible to gauge the time. When we entered, the golden sheen of afternoon was still beating down, but if we left now, I'm sure I'd be greeted by the blue tint of twilight. Not that I want to leave. Despite being at first intimidated by the lack of cohesion here, I've learned to enjoy being in this space. Not because it's especially beautiful or comfortable. After all, it's just as unambitious, sterile building, surrounded by far more interesting wilderness. I enjoy it because I'm surrounded by heaps and mountains of information. With so much knowledge of places and people at my disposal, this space has become a watchtower of sorts to me. Only several minutes ago, I finished flipping through a decades-old study on mule deer within the park. When does this game take place? Do they not have the internet? I'm pretty sure the first episode was... When was the first episode released? 2019, yeah. I assume this is set earlier, or else it just... Well, actually, no. It's been mentioned multiple times that Yellowstone keeps stealing... Yeah, it's mentioned multiple times that Yellowstone keeps buying books online, so the internet does exist. Why has no one told her about it yet? When I closed my eyes and watched my breath, when I closed my eyes and watched my breath, the emotions I was feeling would bloom into images, and I would see a mule deer. It'd be cautiously glancing around, just within view of the astonishing heights of Bridal Veil Fall. When it was sure it was safe, it would graze and peace would wash over it. Stuff isn't catalogued yet. I'd assume so, but like, surely she could look up something online. The best of a clean consciousness, uncorrupted by ego. Then I could feel it too. Then I would feel it too, as if I were that deer. It was obvious to me that the deer was that deer was existing somewhere in this park. Even now, it still does. It was clear to understanding as it was as clear to understand as having an arm. It's easy to believe as you were being able. Oh my god, I'm having a fucking aneurysm. The deer was existing somewhere in this park. Even now, it still does. It was as clear to understand as having an arm, and as easy to believe as you being capable of moving it. That's why this place is a watchtower. It's the same reason why I feel so at home in the cabin, I suppose. Information is documented evidence of existence, and when circled by it, I can experience it all.
How you doing over there?
Eve calls out to me. We've both picked our own cramped tables to station ourselves at, with her one stack of pamphlets and books, and me with another.
Stimulated. Nothing has triggered anything quite like that vision yet, but I'm learning tidbits about myself, the park that I didn't know. Also, a lot of this is validating info I already knew, which is invaluable to me, I assure you.
She scoffs and rolls her eyes, which I love. It's the whole reason I play up my snobbery. Her reactions, they fuel me. But also they reveal so many important things about her. Her fire and her willingness to fight, even if she denies it. See, they do love each other. The ranger is my friend, I admit it, happily. Her offering to help and to take me here so I can learn about the things that plague me most is proof of her friendship. It doesn't matter to me if she feels the same, opposite, or any other way. Whatever is apparent is usually fact.
What are you up to over there? Staying protective, I hope?
Depends on your definition. It's probably nothing that would help you, if that's what you're wondering.
Try me.
I reach my hand out and wait for her to pass off the folder. She groans and with all her willpower and strength rises out of the folding chair. She's my friend, yes, but she still has a natural tendency towards laziness.
I was just starting to get comfortable, too.
Your noble sacrifice is noted.
Instead of handing me the folder, she swats away everything on the table that I was reading and flops it down in front of me.
So, what am I looking at here?
Words. They're a series of structured letters arranged in such a way to communicate information.
I take the folder and start smacking her face with it. She grabs my wrist and pins it back down to the table.
Next time.
Uh-huh. It's a collection of personal journals from folks who were in the Mariposa Battalion.
Brushing up on your Gold Rush history, are we?
Not really. I was giving a tour of the Awanichi village to some 4th graders earlier today, so it's been on my mind. Was gonna get into the real nitty-gritty of it all when their teacher got in the way. Don't think the parents were too happy with me.
Can't have little ears hearing inconvenient truths.
It was convenient for them in the long run. Convenient for Governor McDougal to give the go-ahead. Convenient for James Savage to lead. Convenient to manifest destiny and benefit from it.
Probably not so convenient for the Awanichi.
Probably not.
There's a stiff silence that follows, and for good reason. These are difficult things to contemplate. Time really isn't that big of a barrier between the past and the present. Old scars may as well be fresh wounds when gone untreated, and much like how I feel the presence of that mule deer, I can feel those scars. They wrap around me, all of me, is integral to this environment and space as the mountains and trees, unescapable. My memories may fade, but sorrow's imprint will always remain. To carry the burden of lingering horror and melancholy is my duty as Yosemite, I fear.
It's hard to find motivation to work here for a lot of reasons. But knowing what people are capable of and why this place is even a park to begin with, that might be the hardest.
It doesn't face me while saying those things. Chin is down in her eyes. Her chin is down as her eyes. Easier to internalize the results of history rather than confront her face to face.
Your action is more valuable than your guilt. Do your part by doing something. You've already had this epiphany. Now apply it elsewhere.
My words come out pointed and harsh as intended. She's too much like me, getting so caught up in the web of her thoughts that nothing productive comes from it. That's why her and I need one another, so the other can cut through it.
As for the evils people do,
I flash her a smile. It's a forced one, and I'm not sure I'm particularly good at it, but levity is something important for emphasizing points.
they're capable of much greater goods.
Eve smirks. My smile no longer feels forced. And then her smirk twists into a smug distortion. She's such a wretched little thing.
Interesting to hear you, of all people, say that. The night we met, you couldn't stop talking about how people suck the big one.
It's not a rolling chair, but I force myself to turn in it anyway. To let her see my reaction would be to admit that any of her turnarounds and comebacks actually had an effect on me. We can't have that. There are appearances to queue up. Appearances!
Perhaps this will surprise you, but even I am capable of having my mind changed.
Hey,
She doesn't have anything else. She doesn't say anything else, and I don't think she will until I acknowledge that she has something more to say. To end the game of chicken, I glance over my shoulder, only casually though.
it happens to the best of us.
To the best of us? I spin back around, a hair away from asking her to follow up on that. She only nods. I chuckle, such a lie, but I don't mind the two of us deluding ourselves together.
We're hardly the best.
Of course we are. Of the worst.
The silence that follows isn't stiff this time. It's comfortable and lovely. Like the mornings we share together. I do enjoy a good stimulating debate, but moments where nothing needs to be said are precious.
Speaking with your eyes, girls.
Jesse can feel the romantic tension from here. However, all precious things must come to an end, and this ending is brought to us by none other than Eve's supervisor herself, Jessie, I believe.
Just ignore her, Lilith. She'll eventually go away.
Jessie clutches her chest in agony.
Please. That wouldn't really hurt. All I want to do is tease and love on you. Is that so bad?
I'd say it's a good way to knock her down to size, but maybe she's short enough as it is.
Dr. Lilith.
Is that your screwed up way of defending me?
No, it was an insult.
See? Me and you could have this exact same dynamic if you only let it happen, Eve.
Trust me, what me and you have is better than this.
That one stops Jessie tampering in one swift blow, reducing her to a stuttering, borderline blubbering state.
Oh, well, thank you. Gosh, maybe I am making an impact.
She doesn't realize this was all just a way for Eve to get in, a dig at me, but the compliment seems to make her happy enough. What with her restrained wiggling. Regardless, I do believe that Eve loves this woman quite a bit. I go as far to say the appreciation may run so deep she would actually admit to it, if pressed.
Anyway, girls, just wanted to let you know that this place is technically going to close soon. But since Eve is staff, I don't see a problem with you staying. As long as you remember to lock up afterwards.
Now it makes sense as to why Eve is so fond of her. Jessie is wonderful.
Don't just stand there, Eve. Thank the kind lady.
Thanks, kind lady.
You're welcome, rotten girl.
They both lean in for a side hug. As they do, desolate. Bleh. I'm fucking reading for almost an hour straight. Fucking fries you, I swear to God. As they do, Jessie decides it's time to take a peek over my shoulder.
So, what was it that you two were looking into again?
Someone has nosy tendencies.
Hey, cut it out. Only I can give her crap for that.
But it's so obviously true.
No wonder Eve is so careful when it comes to us. It's not far-fetched to imagine a scenario where Jessie gets just a tad too curious for her own good and found out about me, or Yellowstone, or Zion.
Sorry, she's right. It's a bad habit of mine. I just thought maybe I could help you find what you're looking for, whatever that happens to be.
Eve's eyes worm their way over to my direction. I reply in turn, shooting her a dirty look. She does the same, and it's filthier. Fine, as much as I would love to stay here for all eternity, and perhaps then some. Some help would come in handy. No guarantee she'll have any idea what I'm talking about, though. To be frank, it's difficult to talk about. Not without thinking about that vision. The intensity of its absolute reality. After all, the only reason I was able to explain any of it to the Ranger is because it was her. But if she insisted on letting Jessie in on some of the happenings, I suppose we can bite the metaphorical bullet just this once. It should be easy enough to dance around any information she doesn't absolutely need to know. I sigh and give in. Jessie looks wounded by my lack of enthusiasm, but my hesitation has nothing to do with her. I'm just a private person, creature, thing, whatever I am.
Over the course of my research, I briefly stumbled upon some pictures. They were of a cave somewhere in this park. I believe they're valuable to some of the information I'm presenting in my article. Unfortunately, neither me nor Eve have been able to identify the caves.
Do you have the pictures with you? You could try to match them with the photos you come across here.
Already poking holes in my flimsy story. Did she do this naturally? Is she just an inquisitive soul? Goodness.
Like I said, I only saw them for a brief moment. You could say they flashed by. And I have no way of referring back to them.
How?
Ever.
Eva's shooting me annoyed looks, and if I could communicate via telepathy, I'm sure she would be giving me an earful of how crappy my lying skills are, as if she could do better.
There are lots of caves in this park. Some of the systems go on for miles. It makes sense that you're having such a hard time narrowing it down.
Jessie leaves the proximity. At first I think she's ended the conversation without exchanging any of the useful pointless pleasantries, which more people do, which more people should do really, but then stops at a bookshelf.
But
If you can't find any info on it, there's probably a pretty dang good reason.
She slides out a beige folder coated with dust. With a sharp blow of her breath, all of it goes flying, like particles of time drifting to the ground.
So, unless I'm finally going batty, what you're looking for is probably closer than you think.
Opening the folder, she takes out a thick piece of paper and begins the process of unfolding it. When she does, it's bigger and taller than all three of our heads put together.
Is that a map of the park?
That's right, and an old one too.
I must witness.
Yellowstone's so cute. I make grabby motions at it. Jessie ignores my plea and spreads it out on the table.
So excitable. But be careful, I'm not sure how many of these we have archived.
Handling old things is my specialty.
Maybe you should try specializing in patience next.
And maybe you should try not being an empty, miserable shell.
Well, maybe you should.
Ladies, really?
She brings out the worst in me.
You do that yourself.
I take back what I said. Maybe I don't want what you two have.
The map?
Right. Every so often, management will decide to stop promoting certain areas of the park, usually because of safety or environmental concerns. This will typically involve removing trail markers and taking it off the maps we hand out.
Do you think that might be the case for the place we're looking for?
There's a good chance.
I lean out of my chair and hover over the table. The map is faded in places with torn and dog-eared corners, but it's still legible. Nearly all the locations are places I recognize, as I should, all except for one. I point at it.
Indian Caves. What is this?
Good eye, Lilith. That's what I was about to show you.
What? How come I've never heard of it?
This park has been here longer than the 5 years you worked at it, honey.
Can confirm. I'm proof of it.
This place used to be marked like any other area of the park. It was popular too, being so close to Lake Mirror and all. The caves were easy to explore and walk through, so it was great for kids.
But...
I hate giving your cynical side more ammo, but it's probably what you're thinking. People kept leaving their trash and camping gear there.
it was too much of a hassle for anyone to bother cleaning it up, right?
Right.
Jessie's tone is bleak. It's as if she's regretting bringing this part up the moment it left her mouth. She must be more invested in changing Eve's perspective than I could have guessed. Not that I disagree with the goal, but no meaningful change will happen if you deny her the truth.
It breaks off from a trail and is pretty out of the way. You know how difficult resource management is here, so you can't really blame them.
Oh, I can, and I will.
Eve leans over the table and observes the map with me.
Lake Mirror isn't too far from here. What do you think?
That we should pay it a visit.
Now?
You don't have anywhere better to be.
I'm only letting you have that one because it's true.
Excuse me, you can't go now. It'll be pitch dark.
It's your day off, right?
Technically.
We're good. I don't have to listen to her.
Don't just ignore me after I helped you.
He folds the map. It's only after it's in her back pocket does she ask the relevant question.
Hey, Jessie, you don't mind if we borrow this, do you?
Only able to squeak out a series of helpless stutters, Jessie soothes her head. Looks like Eve inspired some migraines and more beings than Looks like Eve inspires migraines and more beings in this world than just me.
Fine. Just make sure to bring it back. There's supposed to be more red tape involved in this, but
Eve stops her mid-panic of a hug.
Thanks. We'll never let anything bad happen under your watch again. I promise.
Jessie's face goes blank, then her lip quivers.
You can't just say stuff like that and not expect me to.
She faced back a sniffle.
Just leave, okay? Get out of here, get!
Aww. If only Jessie knew how wrong she is. She has a healthier relationship with Eve than I could possibly ever hope for. After all, they're both human. I'm not.
Come on, let's go.
Eve breaks out of the hug and starts for the door.
just tell me what to do.
Just did. Now hurry up. Lake Mirror isn't that far, so it should only be a 10-minute drive.
She jumps out of the chair, and I catch up with her. We're almost out the door when Jessie calls back.
Aunt Eve, please don't blame the people who visit this park for what's wrong with it.
How long has Puff been sitting there in the corner? Why is the sprite there? Huh?
Coming around to people, actually. It's the lazy institutions they build I have a problem with.
There's a short pause from Jessie as we exit the library. Her voice fades out as the door closes.
I'll take that as a win!
Switch to someone.
Not to invalidate your feelings, because I know they're very important. But what part of life, maybe being a dream, makes you anxious? Green 5.
Let's go! We've got therapy, Uno.
Cully, what part about it doesn't scare me? If it's true, then there's just lots of little details that pile up. Green 9.
Like what? I need to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4.
These two are playing with draw until you get something you can use. That's rough.
Aha! Yellow 9!
Well, it's like, does that mean everyone else is dreaming too? Or are we just some other fella's dream? Oh, or maybe it's all my dream. All those things are freaky in different ways. Draw 4.
So evil! Fine. 4 cards. Blue 3. What makes each of those scary to you? If you don't mind me asking.
Good gravy. You don't gotta be all polite and cred when I'm spilling my guts to ya. But if I were to try to articulate it, if it's the first one, then who are we and why are we dreaming? If it's the second thing, then why the heck am I having dreams inside of dreams? And why do I feel so gosh darn real? Oh, looks like I gotta draw. 1, 2, green 3.
What about the third one?
That one's the freakiest! Cause if I'm the one dreaming, that means nobody else is real. And I'm all by my lonesome.
You're not alone. I promise that I'm real. I'm conscious. And I'm really consciously loving you.
Jesus Christ. Oh, these two are the sweetest fucking things. Right in the heart. God, they're so cute.
I wanna believe ya. But what if the dream is just telling me to dream you saying that?
Oh, I can see how that could be scary. Still, I hope you can believe me. One day. Wild card!
No greens or 3s, huh?
No. What makes the first reason scary?
Well, it definitely ain't this blue 2 I'm about to throw down. But I guess it's because if we're all dreaming, then that means we can't be who we are right now. We could be anything. Like little green men in a simulation.
Ooh. Or maybe we're all just the same being living over and over and over. And this doesn't end until every piece of organic existence has been experienced?
Pretty sure it's called the egg theory. I think. Something like that, right? Hold on. Quick research. Yeah. It's called egg theory. So why did my stream announcement not go off? Did it? No, it didn't. Oh shit. I don't think anyone actually looks at it anyway. Everyone probably has the everyone use it.
Are we organic?
I have leaves. And a yellow too.
Let me draw. What you're yakking about is pretty much what I said about all of us being some other fella's dream.
Well, isn't that close to what Yosemite believes? You mean that complicated universal consciousness jibber jabber that I always zone out during? Uh-huh. Yosemite's theory is that we exist because humans are aware national parks exist, and that their awareness becomes matter. Cultural misconceptions and all.
So, what does that imply that if that is actually true, then why the fuck isn't there more personified girls of whatever?
Guess that explains my noggin. What is it? Red 2! And also, if humans made us, then who made humans?
One of the great questions.
You see the discard pile? Maybe it's like that. Like what? Cards. Cards? All the way down. All the way down? Cards all the way down.
Sam, what the fuck are you talking about? She's thinking.
The cards stop at the table, Zion.
Ugh. Back to our girl.
I think we're just about there. Make sure you keep up.
Why doesn't Yosemite just teleport them?
How about you slow down?
He snorts out deep, heavy breaths, drags her feet behind me. Perhaps I'm going at a faster pace than usual, but it's all her fault for not being able to keep up with me. Meanwhile, I'm doing the important work of getting us in the proper direction. Step isn't too difficult to follow, but finding this trail was a task, to put it lightly. We had to park at a hotel, stumble around until I found a bike path, and then finally I found the proper path, only after missing it 3 times. I am going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, back. Where were we? By the time we had been through the whole ordeal, the night in all its blackness has crept up on us. Now the moon hangs high in the center of the sky, glowing in full. So bright it blots out the stars. A cold wind blows, rattling the leaves. If it were visible to the naked eye, I suspect it would look like a musical staff. The clefts and notes swirling through the branches. There's a darkness in the air tonight, ominous thickness that I can't place. As we get closer to the caves, the feeling only gets heavier. The butterflies and excitement I felt in my stomach when we left the library has slithered straight into my head, morphing into the throbbing anxiety. There are only 2 options before me now. I will find the truth, or I will find none. Possible implications of both scare me. I slow my pace until I stop. Eve catches up only to continue past me. When she realizes I'm not moving, she pauses and glances back.
Something up? You had all the piss and vinegar in the world in you a few minutes ago.
Purse my lips, but talk anyway. Fear has never kept me quiet before.
Should we turn back?
He continues on, but I don't follow. His shoulders heave down in a sigh. He turns around.
No, because you'd regret it.
How are you so sure?
Because I'd never let you hear the end of it.
Even if the moon wasn't bright, I'd be able to see her expression clearly. Just one of the many small differences between that makes me inhuman. One of the small differences that makes me inhuman. When I see her serious, deadpan face spotted by the moonlight, I know that, maybe even more so than the information I'll receive tonight, is truth. Eve lies to herself, but I know she doesn't lie to me. So now I follow her. Deeper into the dark woods we go, away from the Yosemite that I am and I know. Night has never seemed so still before. Not a single animal is rustling around in the bushes. No night birds in trees, just the silent dark daring us to go further. I look at the map and let my dread do the guessing as to how far away we are, how many more steps we'll take until the unknown becomes known. 10? 100? Will we wander these woods forever? Maybe Eve won't, but I think I will. That's my fate after all. To haunt this place, I always thought that I exist to speak for this park, but perhaps I'm only here to be its ghost, wailing and moaning until eventually people have returned to the dirt that their descendants forgot this place. If that's my purpose, then I am destined to cycle through it over and over like a cog. Except I won't stop spinning until the whole machine breaks down.
Think this is the place?
He stops. We've reached our destination, whether I like it or not.
Why ask questions you already know the answer to?
Because I know you'll give me one, regardless of whether I want it.
Eve shines a flashlight on the cave. It wasn't much of a cave at all. Nothing as romantic as being carved in the side of a mountain or hell, or as if you're entering the jaws of fate. Instead, it's merely boulders stacked on top of boulders. How they got there is a mystery unknown to time or myself. But they've been there long enough to have grown moss, to have merged with the ancestral ground. Openings big enough for a person to slide into revealed themselves between the rock's jagged shapes. Thin trees guard the various entrances, their wilted and solemn forms extending far into the night sky.
You ready?
No. Let's get on with it.
I march onward, past Eve. She draws in a deep breath, whether it's supposed to steady or just, whether it's supposed. God's sake. You think after all the visual novels I've read through, I'd be bad repeating things aloud. I march onward past Eve. She draws in a deep breath, whether it's supposed steadying or just her usual exasperation getting the worst of her. I can't tell. Twigs snap beneath her boots as she follows me. The entrance is half blocked by a rock. This is half blocked by a rock the size of the bear you would expect to sleep in this cave. Big enough to slip through with some persistence, but not comfortable. I sign Eve in its direction. She positions the flashlight down into the cave. It illuminates a small space with warm light, only getting more narrow the further along it goes. Peering in, it looks like a dim, cozy chapel.
Unless you're in the mood to get stuck, there's no way that'll fit both of us.
I glance into the cave. The light wobbles and secret corners get darker as the flashlight shakes in Eve's hand. A deep frown stains her cheeks. I secretly hope it's pity. It would be nice to be pitied.
Well, here goes everything.
I take the first step through the mouth of the cave, listening to the sweet lullaby of the crickets. The warmth of Eve's breath brushes against the nape of my neck.
Please don't leave.
Aww. Back to Eve. Not that I could with how stunned I am, but she doesn't even give me time to answer before she wiggles and drops down into the cave. Idiot, you can go anywhere within the park in a blink of an eye. Wouldn't matter if I did. But even then, I've already spent 5 years of this job. 5 years with you, I can't just... 5 years with you. I can't just get up and leave, not yet. Yosemite dusts herself off as she inspects the inside of the cave. She places her hand against the rock and traces it over the walls, as if absorbing some unsaid knowledge it possesses. A freezing spike drills through my heart. My vision goes dead black, flickering like a bagged signal. Press my chest, squeezing it until the pain fades. When it's gone, my vision returns. Yosemite gasps. She yanks away her hand.
It's just like earlier. Yosemite! What did you see?
I could really go for the comfort of a smart-ass answer right now, but I don't get that luxury. Instead, she turns to me, her stern eyes swimming with fear, breath heavy.
I'm going deeper.
You're what?
She walks further in.
Yosemite?
Slipping past the wall, she disappears into the darkness beyond the warm comfort of the flashlight.
Yosemite!
No answer.
You're such a pain.
That's just how out of my depth am I? I don't understand any of this. Very part of me wants to go in after her, and yet I don't know. feels like there's something inside of me, something that's not me. It's not talking, it's not speaking, it's not echoing through my head, but it wants me staying put. It doesn't want me to mess. It doesn't want me messing with things that aren't intended for me. To leave the secrets to the seekers. Like Yosemite, I guess. Maybe what's communicating all of this to me is Yosemite. It feels like her scolding, talking down to. God help me if she can spread the will of her ego without even saying a word.
Fine! I'll wait! You hear that? I'll wait!
My voice bounces through the cave. Again, no answer, but this time I feel like one wasn't intended. I feel like I'm in some asylum somewhere, listening to all of this. Yosemite, Yellowstone, Zion. Maybe cracking that guy in the skull is what finally broke my mind. I better guess it's just a dream, all of it. A very wonderful dream then. Crouched on this rock like some kind of woodland goblin. Gaze up at the guardian trees surrounding the cave. Take the flashlight off. Just me, the night, and the wind. Eventually my eyes adjust and I can see the top of the trees. A bird is perched on a branch sleeping. A silhouetted cloud drifts through the sky. My heart is beating, my chest is breathing, my head is spinning, and I'm aware of it all. It makes me so uneasy. But sometimes it feels nice to be uneasy. Jesus fucking Christ! I scream bells out of the cavern of the caves. Full, first dull and tiny, then sharp and resonant as the sound escapes the entrance and stabs my ears. Only a few precious syllables spill out of my mouth before I'm silenced. The sharp pain is back. It's gunshots in my chest. Yosemite's scream hasn't stopped. He's going breathlessly into eternity. Black, static vision. I'm outside the cabin. I can see Yellowstone and Zion sitting at the table through the window. My vision is stolen from me again. The pain shoots back with a vengeance. Static, endless static. Sight. Now I'm in the middle of a clearing. I recognize this place. It's where the fire happened. With those campers, the cigarettes, Yosemite.
What is this?
Darkness, static, and pain, screaming, and right into my eardrum. I stand in the middle of the replica village right outside the Sweat Lodge. The museum looms over us, its peering windows and wide doors form together like a violent face. The location cycle, Yosemite screams. All of this happens again and again and again and again and again and again. All I want is for it to end. It doesn't. I clap my hands over my ears, shutting my eyes tight. Everything's out of control, everything's out of my control. This is all I can do. This is all it is, and I'll do it forever if I have to. Forever. Oh god. Please end. This pain can't be forever. Please don't try and believe this forever. My feet stumble. I catch myself on my left foot. My right knee crashes into a rock. I'm kneeling? Wait for another cycle to happen, but it doesn't. Is it over? Lower my hands from my ears. I open my eyes and realize I'm back to the entrance of the cave, sitting on the rock like I've been there the entire time. The screaming has stopped. Now all I feel is the tangible pain in my knee, not the one in my heart.
What the hell?
My chest heaves in and out. I could sit here forever and catch my breath, probably cry too, if my throat is too dry. Oh shoot, what about?
Yosemite?
I'm ready to dive into the cave when a hand clutches the sleeve of my pants.
Eve?
Her voice is raw, shaking between deep sobs. She's laying down next to me, her free arm slung over her face, her sleeves is soaked with tears.
What happened?
I lean in and grab her shoulder. All it takes is one attempt to drag her up to know that she's not moving anytime soon. My mouth moves, but the words don't even come out as a whisper. May not even be words.
What?
I forgot.
You forgot? That's not gonna cut it. I need some answers.
No! I forgot. Just like Zion.
Oh shit.
Who I was. What I knew. Everything.
Just like Zion?
That would mean you used to be different.
Someone else. Now I'm not.
She chokes between heavy sobs.
And it's just going to keep happening.
I try to stutter a response, but nothing comes.
It's just going to keep happening.
Wind picks up, tossing my hair and any leaves that have fallen off the trees. It's a silent night, so so in places. It's a silent night, so in its place, Yosemite wails.
Reverse!
Back to fucking Uno.
Reverse!
God's sake.
Reverse! 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 Seriously, Petus, why does this always end up happening?
Yeah, thanks for dumping that huge reveal on us and going back to these fucks playing Uno.
No offense, Yellowstone, but you were the one who combined 4 decks together.
4 decks. That's not actually a bad idea.
For quadruple the fun! This is still fun to you? All it's doing now is making me stressed. How do you think I feel? All that turtle jibber jabber you were going on about is still zipping over my head. I'm out for lunch. By the way, you only have 1 card left, and since I pointed it out, you gotta draw 2 more. Sorry, cutie. Them's the rules. Jeez. You really know how to push my buttons when we play games. You know that? The turtles, Zion! The turtles!
What? Same.
I'm going to try and explain this one more time. Are you ready?
I love Silence so much.
Let's rattle. So it's like how I explained it with the cards in the discard pile. Cards all the way down. Okie dokie. Now, with that in mind, let's assume the entire world is on the back of a turtle. Far out. Does he have a name? No. The turtle is just an example. It could be any animal. Ooh, could it be a buffalo then? They're so fluffy and huggable. I just want to squeeze them. Okay. It's a buffalo.
I don't think we've ever seen Zion so done with everyone's shit.
Yes! The buffalo can't stand on its own in space. So naturally, there would have to be something beneath it. In this case, another buffalo. But wouldn't that mean that other buffalo would have to start standing on something too? Can you guess what it is? Another buffalo? Red 3. That's right! And it just keeps going and going. There can't be that many buffalo. They almost went extinct. It's just a special way to think about things, Yellowstone. You asked what made humans if humans made us. And I guess that's my answer. It could be something else, on top of something, on top of something else. Or it could be a dream. Or maybe it's nothing at all.
I'm kind of loving this fucking deep philosophical talk while they're playing Uno.
I don't really know. Then what does that mean for us? It doesn't make any sense. And it scares me, you know? Oh, I have an Uno! Blue 3! Blue 7! I win! It just doesn't make a lick of sense to me. What's the point of living if you don't know nothing while you're doing it? It just seems hopeless. Does there need to be a point? Huh? Of course there does. Every camper that cruises through here has one. They got hobbies or nice families. Even Evo has her job. You think it'd be easier for us being parks and all. All we gotta do is help folks get back to nature and look pretty while doing it. We should be jam-packed with purpose. But I sure don't feel like it. Ain't there a reason we're here? There might be. But why should it be up to us to figure it out? Well, Yosemite's always trying to do it. Yosemite is Yosemite. Let her do what she needs to do to make herself happy. Does dwelling on this make you happy? No. Feels pretty crummy, actually. That don't mean I can't think about it, though. I know. It's not that easy. But what about the things that do make you happy? Can you think about those? Oh, sure. I can do that till the cows go moo. Can you tell me some of them? Being here with my precious Earth Angel is one of them. I can tell you that. Being with you makes me happy too.
Aww. The babies.
And I think just being here now is a lot more important than worrying about all that other stuff. Because here isn't forever. Not even for us. Zion!
Aww.
I don't know if I can change what scares me, Lickety Split, or anything sudden like that. It's all so whack. It is whack. But if vibing here with me is good enough for you, then by golly, I'm gonna try and make it good enough for me. It might take a long time. Well, as long as the thing on top of my head don't explode, I think I'll be okay. It's a good excuse to dilly-dally at least. And if you want, we can have more talks like this. We can play more Uno too.
Aww.
That'd be swell. Could we play another round now? Sure. Let's take out some of the reverse cards though. Oh, such a stick in the mud. But okay. Phew.
Oh shit.
Say, did you hear something? No. I felt something though. Probably just the sting of defeat. That's very rude. You'll eat those words slowly to prevent indigestion. You're on. Oh, but before that, I have another question. By all means. So, what's the deal with eternity?
For God's sake. Back to work, girl. And this mess. Dear Teddy, not much has changed changed on my front since I hastily jotted down last night's events. I just wanted to get it all on paper in case I needed to remember anything. It was a moot point though. I still remember everything vividly. Yosemite cried for a long time. I didn't think she would ever stop. All I could was sit there. All I could was sit there and watch, like some kind of idiot. Maybe I'm even more cautious, maybe more callous than I think I was, or maybe I don't know how to handle other people's having emotions. She comforted me before with a hug even. She's comforted me before with a hug even. I wasn't able to do the same for her, I wonder. When she finally calmed down a little, she explained to me some of the things she saw. I was exactly like she said. She's just like Zion, right down to living an entire existence she had completely forgotten about. The deeper she went into the cave, the more past would enter her. Is that why I got stuck in that circle? In that cycle? It felt like whenever they teleport me somewhere else. It felt like whenever they teleport me somewhere, except worse. I was getting too close. Could be why their visions are sticking to me. Maybe Yosemite just got too close to the truth. Regardless, they're both out of our league. We're both out of our league. She knew people, tribes of them. She could speak their language. They knew her. One of them was a girl. Yosemite smiled when she said that she reminded her of me. I haven't seen her smile since. This girl had a name for her. I'm horrible at pronouncing new words. Ahawani? That's the best you're getting out of me. She told me about how they would often go to the same cave she went to last night to hide and visit and argue with each other. Guess she was an argumentative brat before she ever even met Zion. For a lot of things. What am I doing here, Teddy? I'm so out of my depth, I may as well be drowning in the ocean. It's not like the girls know much more than I do. They exist, but they're not just along for the ride. I'm scared because I don't know what's going to happen next. Because somebody hasn't left the couch since we got home last night. As I'm writing this, she's still there. A blanket pulled over her head. Research untouched. It's the first morning where the table's seat opposite for me has been empty. Where I've been unopposed. About as good of a human as I am as a ranger. P.S. I dusted off my phone to look up what a Hawahani. I just figured out. I just decided how to pronounce this and I've already forgotten. Hawahani means it's Milwaukee for Big Mouth. If that was her name, can't think of anything more fitting. Flip Teddy shut and tap my fingers on its cover. Yosemite is completely submerged by our blanket. If it weren't for her feet dangling over the armrest, I wouldn't even be able to tell she was there. Wish I could say something. Know that I can't. I just hope she bounces back. I don't want to face those things alone again. I don't want to face those things alone either.
Miss Eve?
Zion's squeak drags me out of the depths of my own thoughts. I haven't told her or Yellowstone about what went down last night, so for them it's business as usual. I don't know if it's moral to hide it from them, but I think they're better off not knowing.
What is it?
My voice is a dry gravel on account of the sleep I didn't get last night.
Do you happen to know where Pup is? I can't find him anywhere. He'll miss his breakfast.
Yeah, he was stuck at the side of the screen during that library scene. I hate to say it, but he had completely slipped my mind. It's a pressing matter, but yesterday was filled with those.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen him since I got off work yesterday. I'll go out and look for him in a bit. He doesn't wander too far.
Thank you. I'm just worried is all.
When are you not?
When everything is perfect.
Ain't nothing ever perfect. Dollface here knows that better than anybody.
Yellowstone comes bobbing over from the stove carrying a platter of pancakes in her hand.
Is there a criticism of me you'd like to share, Yellowstone?
Darn tootin', you're nothing but stick and bones. Now have a stack of flapjacks. They go all the way down.
Yellowstone winks at Zion. Zion responds with an uncomfortable smile, like an embarrassed kid whose parents just complimented them in front of their friends. What a couple of weirdos.
Thanks, but I'm not hungry.
Huh? You've gotta be yanking my chain. You've never turned down my flapjacks before.
Feel like crap. Sorry.
It is a flapjack anyway. It's just a pancake. Is there a difference? What are these? Flat cake. Okay, so in America, flapjack is just a fancy way of saying pancake, and the UK it's a weird granola bar. Kind of want to try one now, but that's an issue for a while. Another day.
Well, somebody's gotta eat these flapjacks. Yosemite turned her nose up to them too.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. She didn't even look at us when we asked.
The moping blanket pile on the couch ruffles around.
Let me give it a shot.
Climb to my feet and swipe the platter from Yellowstone. Her and Zion shoot each other concerned glances.
Hey, Tree.
I go to the front of the sofa and crouch where I think Yellowstone's face might be hidden.
You want food?
She tugs at the blanket further over her head and rolls onto the other side.
Don't you know it's rude to be a pain in the ass when someone's trying to keep you from starving?
At first I'm concerned I'm not going to get an answer. But at first I'm certain I'm not going to get an answer. Then I get something. Oh.
I don't need food. It's fine.
Well, I'll take that over silence at least.
Eve, it's me. Open up.
Oh shit. Familiar sound of Jesse calling out from my porch breaks through the cabin. Not nearly as cheerful as usual though. What's she doing here? She always radios me before dropping by. I sigh and let the platter down on the coffee table.
Just let me know when you're ready to sort through all this.
What's for Yosemite? Then raised to a slightly higher whisper for the rest of them.
You guys should split for a while. Looks like duty is calling.
Aye, aye. Come on, girls. Let's make like a bee and buzz off.
Yellowstone grabs Alan's hand. The two of them rush over to the couch and force Yosemite's hand out of the blanket, long enough to hold it. They disappear from the room before I can blink.
Adams, I know you're in there. You open this goddamn door right now.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. What's her damage? She was as bubbly as usual last night.
Coming!
I sprint over and grab the doorknob. The door bursts open. Jessie comes charging through it. She clutches my shoulder and pins me against the kitchen counter, her fingernails digging through my shirt.
What the hell, Jesse?
Shut up. I should be the one asking you that, okay?
Oh shit, what happened? Her girl gets looser and her voice shakes. She turns her head up and looks at me. Her eyes are wet. Cheeks are puffy. Her heart drops like an anchor.
What happened?
That coyote puppy of yours? The one I told you not to feed. You remember that, Eve?
Oh shit. Words don't come out at first, and when they do, they're mostly broken.
Jesse, what happened? What happened to Pup?
Oh god, you named it too? For Christ's sake, Eve!
She chuckles a fake laugh to herself and takes a breath.
Listen to me. It wandered into camp yesterday. There was a girl. 6 years old, Eve. 6 years old.
Oh shit.
She got a little too close.
No!
Most blubbering at this point, we both are. Please don't let it get any worse.
3 fingers!
Oh.
No.
Listen to me! 3 fingers! It was too late by the time they got to Fresno. They had to amputate.
The cabin's door swings in the wind. There aren't any campers in the forest across the clearing. As far as I know, the trees could go on forever. Dear Teddy, what have I done? Jesus Christ. Are you just gonna leave it there? Fuck's sake. Fuck you. We don't even get credit music. Jesus Christ. I don't have to wait like a fucking year to get the... So someone's credited as a voice actor for the Coyote? Jesus. And I'm gonna have to wait like a fucking year to get the conclusion to that. God. Here's episode 5. Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm sure it is. Ugh. They're just... Who? Well, Jesus. We don't even get a... Ugh, we don't even get a fucking... dumb little info section. Just gonna fucking leave us like that. Jesus Christ. And that's it. Ooh, guest star. Where the fuck is my mouse? Oh, there's 2 CGs I don't have. How the fuck would I get those? It's a guest star. Ooh. Oh, look at these there. So, Jesus Christ. Ugh, I'm gonna have to... I was expecting you to leave me on a cliffhanger, but not that shit. god. Apparently they're having to rework the whole ass game for this final chapter. So who knows when it'll come out. Ugh. It is fucking cruel. God. I know I said at the start of the stream I was going to be angry at the end, but okay. Well, we'll come back to this game and stream the final chapter the second it comes out. I get to please be happy when I stream 20 minutes after it launched. Okay, but until then, next week's another writing stream, and the week after, I know I should, and I usually do take breaks between visual novels, but the people who made Perfect Gold, that one about the lesbian witches, I played. They've got like 4 games. I played Love Esquire. It was not stream appropriate. But their first game was a horror visual novel, and I bought that. So I'll probably start that up in a week or 2. When I have the time. It looks pretty good, and I just bought it, so I might as well play it on stream. Also fully voiced, because my per vocal cords can only take so much. I already voice all the narration for 2 hours straight. My per voice can't take doing different character voices for that time as well. At least not yet. Maybe I'll start one day. Because I've got plenty of unvoiced Yuri. But until then, I'm gonna fuck off. I've got dinner waiting on me, and I haven't eaten it yet. Bye.